so I may or may not have. Ow! So as you can see, this is a little bit loose. Sometimes if we overflowed our fuel, it would actually come out where the vent hose was supposed to be.
So a lot of you have been sending us questions and everything. How are we doing with this whole situation that's happening now? So we decided to do a super quick video and let you know what we're up to. Most of the stuff, reorganizing the boat. We've been cleaning the boat, more cleaning, everything that could be organized or rearranged, we are. We're trying to be socially responsible, and we're really only leaving the boat to provision. We left the boat 2 times, and both times we went to the store first thing in the morning, got what we needed, and we're now set for really a whole month if this stuff drags out. So we are making the best of it, listening to audiobooks, organizing, learning new techniques, new sailing techniques, exploring charts. So once all these restrictions get lifted, we know where we're going, whether we're still heading towards the Bahamas, or if maybe we need to go to the Western Caribbean and maybe do Mexico this year. If those borders open up faster and if they make more sense. So I'll show you a little bit about our anchorage and how it looks. It's pretty, everybody's pretty much following rules. They're following direction, staying inside. So this is what it looks like now. Here's Patrick cleaning and polishing all the aluminum.
Yeah, this was a punishment or a chore while you were when we were younger, to polish the metal and all that stuff. But now it's like kind of therapeutic. So it allows me to just kind of start something and finish it, have a finished product. And I think when you're bored and there's stuff like now, that's kind of important. You just gotta you want to start something and then have a finished product so you can feel like you've been productive with your time. So that's what I'm doing.
Sweet. Oliver is supervising, making sure everything is clean and everything. We're pretty well provisioned. We have some bagels, some fresh veggies we caught yesterday. And this is what our anchorage looks like. It's not a bad spot to be stuck, to be honest. All these boats pretty much people have already vacated or they went back home. There's one little truck, couple of trucks there in the bridge, but pretty much just commercial delivering things. And that's it. So we're pretty much restricted to this beautifulness. We've been paddleboarding and doing stuff around here. As you can see, nobody's there, not even on the beach. That's the beach area right there. Right there. Nobody at the beach. So we just paddleboard, swim, clean the bottom of the boat, but pretty much stay isolated. How are you spending this wonderful quarantine? Hopefully not constantly watching the news, because that can get kind of depressing. So let's stay healthy, let's stay safe, and use this time to be productive. Right, Oliver? Yes. Who's that? Who's that, Oliver? Let's go check it out. Let's go. Perimeter check. Go. No, you're just gonna wash dishes with us and wash and clean. You're such a good boy.
Ow. There's Madeline at it again. This time, splinter in the foot.
I swear, having children prepared me for this.
Having children prepared you for this.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you do a selfie and show your forehead?
So I may or may not have. Ow! I may or may not. I may or may not have hit my head earlier again. So between that and ow! And this splinter in my foot, which I have no idea where I got it from, but probably walking around barefooted on the dock, which is a concrete dock, so it's weird. But yeah, so between that and a splinter in my foot, yeah, I'm good for the day. I shouldn't have any more issues for the day. I think I'm gonna have a drink and take a nap. Yeah, as soon as she gets the splinter out of my foot. So when we were headed down here on our trip, we Madeline noticed that when one of the times where we had to turn the motor on, it was making like a little bit of squealing noise, like the alternator belt. So I was looking at the alternator belt while we were going, and I mean, it looked like it's fine. It's got plenty of tension. There's no abnormal wear on the belt or anything like that. The pulleys all look good. Everything's in place and solid, and everything's spinning freely. But we were obviously underway, so we were getting rock and rolled pretty good because there was a lot of following seas, and there was just no time to be down here and messing with it. And as long as the gauges were all good, we should be fine. And then I noticed as we were getting ready to pull in, there's this little light that came on. Here's a picture of it. And but the gauges were fine, so we couldn't really figure out what was going on, you know. So we turned the engine off and took a look at it, and everything seemed to be fine. But what I did, now that we're here and the engine's cool and I can mess around with it, this is what I actually noticed was making the noise. So what was actually making the noise wasn't the fan belt, it was the pulley for the water pump. So as you can see, this is a little bit loose. So unlike, you know, we used to do back in our past life of work and cars and houses and everything like that, usually you could just see something and be like, oh, what's that noise? Oh, I'll check it later. Well, we really can't. So we check everything on a daily basis to make sure everything's good. And if we hear a noise, there's no just turning up the stereo and hoping that the noise goes away, and then if it breaks down, calling AAA to come pick you up. So we'll actually be stranded. So we try to make a really good effort of checking everything as soon as we hear anything, or anything even feels out of the normal, or something just doesn't sound right or anything. We try to check it out as soon as possible. So yeah, I'm just gonna fix that up today and tighten that belt up. And then I saw a couple hose clamps I'm gonna show you here in a little bit. I think I'm gonna change those too, because they just need to be changed every so often. And just, you know, it's on an important part. It's on the stuffing box, so it needs to make sure that this stays nice and tight. So I'm gonna take a look at that today too. So while we're just kind of chilling while everybody else is in quarantine and there's nobody out on the road and most of the stores are closed, we are already provisioned by running up to Boca Chica. Actually, we didn't run. We were at Boca Chica, and we ran up to Sigsbee, to the other base, went up to the commissary, and did our provisioning there. So we're good for a couple weeks. We don't have to worry about it. We got plenty of food, and Madeline knows how to cook, so we're good to go. So that gives us time to take care of all these little knick-knack things and knock them all out.
So while Patrick is changing all that stuff, I'm putting together my favorite rice in the Instapot. Just put some rice and black beans and dried veggies, which are super convenient while we're sailing. And I'm just gonna make some taco salad. They had some really good romaine on sale, so we're making some yummy taco salad, crunched up chips. And that's what we're making for lunch today. And I am so glad that Patrick decided to switch all those brackets, because when we were trying to adjust them, they actually broke. They were so rusty. That screw right there, it actually broke in it. So I'm glad that we have those new now, and probably part of the part why our stuffing box was leaking.
So we have 4 hose clamps on the stuffing box. So I went ahead 2 on each end. So I was looking at it and I was like, you know, while I'm down here, let me just crawl down in here and check it out. And yeah, so they're rusted. And they were rusted so bad that this one, the head broke off when I tried to take it off, and then the actual clamp itself broke. So that really wasn't holding anything. And these ones were about ready to go. So you know what, for the cost of just a few hose clamps, I always keep a bunch of spares. I just said, you know what, while I'm down here, I'll just replace all 4 of them. Because we were getting a little bit of water, and I think some of it is because the stuffing box needs to be adjusted. But I noticed that with all this water on these, that I think maybe it was also leaking around the stuffing box itself. So we'll be able to see if it slacks off and we don't have to hear the bilge pump coming on so much.
Sweet.
Yep.
Let's do it and do it. So can you get the generator going so I can start my 8-minute race?
8 minutes. You got it.
Sweet.
So one of the things we've just been kind of dealing with for a while, because it was never really that high on the priority list, because we had, you know, everything's on a priority list, and this wasn't really one of the highest ones, is when we found out that sometimes if we overflowed our fuel, it would actually come out where the vent hose was supposed to be, and someone had cut the vent hose back in the day. I don't know if it was previous owner or the previous owner before that, I don't know. So we were just super careful when we filled it, watched the fuel gauge, and when it got full, we just stopped. We never like filled it all the way to the brim because it would come out of the vent. So today, while I was down there doing the tightening up the water pump belt, I figured, hey, I'll go ahead and check that out and see where, and just go ahead and maybe run an extra line. We bought some hose so that we could run another vent line, and so I was going to track down where it came out, because, you know, as I was looking around, I never really saw a diesel fuel vent line. So check this out. This is what I'm assuming happened from one of the previous owners. So let's take a look at that real quick. This right here is our vent line that comes out of our fuel tank. So this comes up here, goes up here. So I was looking to see where it ran, so I started pulling stuff out from up here, and guess what I found? Some random line that, when I looked at the numbers on the hose, it's the exact same line. And this is where it goes together. So I'm like, okay, why would someone cut the line? So I obviously, first redneck trick I always use is I'd blow in the hose to see if it's going to come out of the other side, see if it's clogged. Maybe they did it because it's clogged. So it runs all the way back up in here behind the instrument cluster, runs up through here, and then out, and then back and out of the transom, right? And then out of the transom, right? Thing is, when you look on the outside of the transom, guess what there isn't? It's solid. Yep. So I don't know why or how it happened, and I don't really care because I know I can fix it, but somehow it got fiberglassed over, and it looked like maybe it got done by accident, because if you also look back through here, so you can see where we had the plates for a swim platform. So the only thing I can assume is that maybe when they close the holes for the swim platform, that they also kind of fiberglassed over that too as well. So as for a project for another day, I'm going to be pulling that hose off, drilling a hole, and then putting another vent there. So then I can connect the other line, and now we'll have our diesel fuel vent again, and we don't have to worry about it. So yeah, it was just kind of I have no idea why somebody did that. It just doesn't make any sense. But it's good to know that it can be fixed. So yeah, there we go. Mystery solved.